Hey everyone, so this is going to be a series that I'm doing on the 3 things that you should know about a position. And I'm going to have my notes on the side here because I don't want you guys to miss anything. I want to give you the most value I possibly can about these positions. So for example, if you're doing president, treasurer, vice president, and I'll list out what each thing does so that in case there's a difference in the variation of what you do, or you have a different title for it in your house, that you can adjust it accordingly. And so president's pretty consistent across the board. You're in charge of everything. And this actually makes it seem like there's more work than it is. In fact, if you're doing it right, there's actually less work and more of just ensuring that people are doing what they're supposed to. There's a lot of delegation. And so the first thing I want to cover is actually not delegation, but making sure that you maintain important relationships. And so what that means is that there are 2 really key relationships within the community that you have to have, which is that with your alumni and with your national headquarters. And I know what you're thinking, nobody really likes nationals, nobody really likes dealing with them, and then alumni are usually on your case about anything that's going wrong in the house. But having a really strong and tight relationship with these 2 entities is super important down the line, because if you ever get in trouble, if there's ever something that you really need help with, these are the people that you want to go to, especially on the alumni side. Headquarters you usually go to when something goes really poorly, and in that case you really want to get them informed as soon as possible, because them getting blindsided is only going to make your case tougher. So let's get started. So alumni, I can't stress the importance of this relationship enough. Whether you're a sorority or a fraternity, the alumni tend to own a portion of the house, the actual physical house. So they either do it through debt or they have equity based on the contribution they put into the house, but they own the house. And so having a strong relationship with the people who have a stake in the future of your physical house not only gives you insight as to their perspective on what's going on, whether it be the financing, so making sure that people are paying what they're supposed to and ensuring that you're on time with payments if you have a loan with the bank, but it's also an advocate if something goes wrong with national headquarters or the university. A lot of the time the university and national headquarters are going to talk to the alumni and have a lot more favorability if they can be an advocate on your behalf. And so for me, you can also support they can also support causes that you're passionate about. So for example, we really wanted to grow the actual infrastructure of the house, and so we really wanted to get some new tables, some new furniture, and the alumni were actually open to that, because on their side of things, it helps with capital improvement and making the house more attractive for when people want to live in. And then from our side, it makes they feel better because we have a better living situation. And so that can range to things beyond furniture too, like you can try to get a patio in place, or you could try to get a balcony, though there's a lot of risk involved with that. So moving on, some insider insight, which is from my experience as someone who helped launch an alumni mentoring program, one of the biggest things that I found with the alumni was that there were hundreds of them that were super excited to give back, and they wanted to pick up some of the mentorship or even donating, but they didn't know how to get involved with the house or what they would be donating to. And so when they got into their late 20s and early 30s, after they had finally gotten a job established and maybe even a family, that's when they started looking to give back to the house. And that's a perfect point, because one, they're at a point in their organization where they're a little bit more comfortable, they're not a newcomer. And 2, they're actually at a point where they can help people to get their foot in the door, whether it be through interviews, through looking at the resume and making sure that it's up to point with where it needs to be in order to actually make the cut. And so, and is that even the president, because he just doesn't know to, and because there's this transition between the people who had just been working with the alumni and the one who's incoming right now, that no one's contacting them. And so as president, you really need to be that bridge between the people who really want to be a part of the house again, these alumni who are in their 20s and 30s, and even older ones, and then the active members who may not even know to reach out to them. And so with that in mind, I think that it's really important to utilize an alumni relations chair. Whether you have one or not, if you don't have one, I say create one, and then really instill with them that they need to have a relationship with the alumni, and whether that's with the alumni corporation board, which tend to be the alumni that are super involved in the house, or it's just the chapter advisor, somebody who is a big advocate and who tends to work directly with the chapter. Really make sure that they are maintaining these relationships and reaching out to them to figure out, how do they want to give back to the house. And that'll help with not just improving the network of every active member in the house, but it also makes you feel better, because if you were an older person who was an alumni, wouldn't you want to be involved in the house that had given so much to you? I think that you'll find it's really rewarding, not only for them, but for you as well. And so moving on, the national headquarters. So that's the other relationship that's super important here. Similar to maintain the relationship with the alumni, while Nationals gets a really bad reputation just because they almost never come in unless something bad is going on, if you're able to be proactive and really start that relationship early and ensure that they're at least kept up to date with the big things going on, they'll really appreciate that. And I think that it'll help you if you do ever get into trouble. They'll be a lot more lenient than they will with other chapters who may not have a relationship at all and may never contact them unless they have to. And you really don't want to get to the point where you have to be contacting them. And then be upfront when the situation is bad. If something goes wrong, Nationals can come in place and actually be a huge third-party intermediary between you and the university, and ensuring that you guys are on point as to how you can make the situation better, and then in that sense look better to the university and to Nationals, who's going to be eventually the people who give out a punishment or some type of probation. Okay, so aligning your goals. And this is something that actually a lot of presidents don't realize is super important. Making sure that you set out a North Star metric, whatever that might be, whether it's improving the number of pledges that you have, or making sure that you have a better social calendar, or wanting to improve the GPA, because that's a huge kind of red flag for people if they are just trying to join the house and they want to see, are you actually any good with your academics? You need to have something that you all are working towards. You, the treasurer, the AVP, the EVP, the scholarship chair, everyone that's trying to work towards that goal in their own way. So if you're trying to improve the number of pledges that you have, the scholarship chair may be trying to improve your grades, because that way the GPA that these rushes are looking at is higher, and therefore they have a better there's better public look on where your house stands. Then you look at the EVP side. Obviously, their objective is going to be to rush as many people as possible, and on top of that, retain those people, which we can get into in the EVP video. The president and the AVP are going to be doing things to ensure that the actual events that are going on are coordinated properly, and that the people who are supposed to be setting these up are actually doing their job. And so that's just one example of if your North Star metric was improving the number of pledges that you have. So number one was ensuring that you have a relationship with the alumni and the national headquarters. Number two is ensuring that you have a North Star metric that everyone is working towards, and that you are keeping people on point, whether it be anybody from the AVP to the secretary, are on track to really push towards this North Star metric. And the third one, and the one that I think is most important if you're a president, is that you're still a sister or a brother. At the end of the day, you should be going around and chatting with people, whether they be an active member or somebody on your exec board, and ensuring that you're doing what they really want you to be doing. And what I mean by that is just ask them, hey, are we doing what is making you feel like you're having a better experience? And I've been shocked as to the amount of people that don't do this very simple act that takes 5 minutes, but makes people, whether they're an active member on your exec board, feel like they're really contributing. And maybe they're not contributing in them actually going and putting on an event, or them going in and rushing people, but at least they're contributing in a way where they're giving you feedback that makes you a better president, or you a better AVP, or you a better treasurer. It's really important, whether you're president or not, to really be going around and doing this, but especially the president, because you're the face of the exec board. This can also really be useful if you want to crowdsource ideas. So people can have some incredible ideas. Even if they're not huge contributors to the house, they may have unique insight as to what's really going on that can exponentially improve you reaching your North Star metric, or you doing something that really makes the entire brotherhood or sisterhood happy. And so I think that there is some serious value in being able to go up to anybody in the house and ask them, do you have any ideas that you think could really improve X or Y or Z?
Hey everyone, just want to real quick thank you for looking at the video. Please mention in the comments anything that you want to see content-wise, whether it has to do with recruitment, helping with social, your position, more on the positions, something about personally that you've had to deal with that you would like some clarification on how to approach it, anything really. And then thank you for having patience with me on trying to figure out what exactly to do with these videos and how to edit it, how to produce it in the right way where it's entertaining but also super educational and valuable to the people involved. Thank you again so much. Look forward to seeing you soon.